Hi there, and welcome to the Cult of Cinema. My name is Aaron, and tonight we are talking about the MillCreek triple feature thriller set that they put out. It is a Morgan Creek Entertainment triple feature set. It has 1996's Diabolique, 1997's Incognito, and 2000's The In Crowd. Three very unique, different thrillers. I can tell you right off the bat, I was very excited to get this here release. Diabolique is in a 1:85 aspect ratio. The picture on Diabolique is fantastic. This is going to be completely spoiler free because I want you guys to go in and watch these films and get excited like I did. Because 9 tenths out of 10, these films here that are on this set are overlooked thrillers. They're underseen, like they're overlooked and underseen. They're films that you may have heard about and just not picked up. The most popular film on here is probably one of the biggest gems, and a lot of people initially didn't see that one as well, and it's the reason that a lot of people are excited about this film. I unboxed this a few days ago, and it was there's a lot of excitement about this particular triple feature, which made me happily surprised because this is something that I do think belongs in your collection. I'm going to tell you why. Diabolique is the 1996 thriller based on the original Henry George Clouseau film. It stars Sharon Stone, Isabella Adjani, Chaz Palminteri, and of course, Kathy Bates. It's suspenseful, it's unique, it's extremely well shot, it's different, and it has this water motif. It has it for a reason. And if you want to basically see like the picture quality of the film or like what you're going to get, just watch the beginning of Diabolique and just see like the rain sequence where the rain is kind of pouring down over the boys' school, and we're seeing like it's sweeping around. We're seeing like the roads. We're seeing the pool. We're seeing all the stuff that's going to be very important later on in this film. The actors are brilliant. They're layered. Chaz Palminteri does play a very evil character, a very villainous character, but there's a lot of fun with, like, he's a bad guy. He's not a nice guy at all, but he's obviously having a lot of fun with this role, and you can tell. And it makes you, even though you hate the guy, it kind of makes you have a lot of fun with the film as well. Though he will be despicable, he will be a guy that you want to see. You want to see him dead from the first time, pretty much that he's on the scene. He's just really, he's not a nice character. And I really enjoyed this. I really thought this was a really fun film. Basic story behind Diabolique, I really can't tell you because honestly, this is one where you got to go in. If you've seen the original, then watch this one and see where the different twists are. If you haven't seen the original, watch this one. Go back, watch the original later on, and see what you think of both of them. But I thought it was a really fun ride. I really enjoyed it. I wasn't sure. It had been a long time since I'd seen Diabolique. Like, I'd seen the original more recently, and I hadn't seen the remake in years. So I went in pretty jaded, pretty unsure, because the original was a classic. How would this stand up? Luckily, they did it so that it's its own thing, and I like that. I like that it's its own thing. I like the way it was shot. I really, really like Isabella Adjani in this film. I think, well, if you've ever seen Possession, for instance, which is a tour de force role, she just gets these little nuances to her characters that are incredible. They're just so amazingly well done, and she is utterly gorgeous. Isabella Adjani is an amazing, beautiful woman, and even when she's playing a meeker, kind of milder character, you still can't get away from the fact that she is stunning. From the very first scene in this film, where basically he's going to get into a bathtub, so she's disrobed. You cannot take your eyes off Isabella Adjani. 100% recommend this film. Incognito. This was the one that I knew the least about, which is a real shame. It was originally directed by Peter Weller for about a week. Then John Badham took over because Peter Weller and the producer, well, they didn't get along. It is in the 2:35 aspect ratio. This is one's really cinema-like. Stars Jason Patric. A really good role for Jason Patric, by the way. Here's an underrated actor that doesn't get talked about enough. Irene Jacob, of course, was always amazing. Ian Richardson, scene stealer in every damn scene he's in. And of course, the great powerhouse of an actor, Rod Steiger. Rod Steiger was only in this film for a little bit, but his presence is felt all throughout the film, in more ways than one. And you've got to watch the film to understand exactly what I mean. But Jason Patric plays an art forger. He doesn't do any like the big painters. He doesn't do any like Rembrandts or Picassos. He stays with with mid tier, and makes quite a bit of money on that. But he's a talented artist himself, and his father, who was also an artist, Rod Steiger, who had never made it, but was a brilliant artist, is telling Jason Patric to get out there, stop the art forgery, do your own thing. Get a Harry Donovan. That's the character, Jason Patric's character's name. Get a Harry Donovan painting on the wall. Don't worry about making paintings of somebody else to put on a wall that you know that you did. At the beginning of the film, he finds out that because he has spent so much time making these art forgeries, that he hasn't had enough time to create paintings of his own. He gets a letter telling him that an art exhibit that had been planned for him has been canceled, and he's feeling pretty dejected. At this time, three men show up, three rich art exhibitors, and they say to him that they have the job for him. It's going to be $500,000. They get $50,000 up front, $500,000 when it's done, but they want him to challenge him to do the biggest art forgery of all time. They want him to do a Rembrandt. And as it's said in the film, only a Rembrandt can paint a Rembrandt. Jason Patric, though, is the most talented art forger in the world, and they've been looking for someone for a long time. This is shown at the beginning of the film. So Jason Patric, at the most despondent time, after finding out that his art exhibit is not going to happen, he feels like, at this point, what's the use? I'm not gonna make it anyway. This money can be my father's ill. His father's played Rod Steiger. His father's ill, and he just wants to go on a trip, to go around, to see all the art places with his dad, to do that. And he says, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna travel. I'm gonna get the spirit of Rembrandt in me, and I'm gonna do the Rembrandt to the best of my ability. Now, at the beginning of the film, we see Jason Patric getting arrested for murder. And then the film flashes back to before. Did he kill somebody? Well, it's a movie about a guy on the run. It's a thriller. It's incredibly well done. It's extremely well shot. John Badham directed it, man. It's gonna be good. And Jason Patric's really good in this. Irene Jacob, Jason Patric do have a really good chemistry in the film. Rod Steiger breaks your heart in almost every scene as this guy that just wants to see his son do the right thing. He just wants to see his son do the right thing. But he's a tougher dad. He's older. He's crustier. He's the dad that wants to say I love you. He wants to say I miss you. But he can't just bring himself to do it. It's a hell of a ride. I enjoyed every second of this film. The film runs at 108 minutes long, which is the same as Diabolique, which is a pretty quick clip along. Some would say they'd be kind of leisurely paced, and it does kind of let itself slow down for a bit. But it is an on-the-run film, so it just gets itself. It like gets you invested in the character, so that when the twists start to happen and he starts to go on the run and all these different like kind of crazy things happen along the way, you care what happens to Jason Patric. You care about when he's talking to his dad on the phone. The relationships that he makes along the way, they got a bit of substance to them. Even like a small one that's made like early on in the film pays off much later. I left this film with a smile on my face and feeling pretty damn satisfied. Third film on here is The In Crowd. It's in a 178 aspect ratio. Stars Susan Ward, Lori Herring from Herring from Mulholland Drive, Matthew Settle, Nathan Bexton, and I think Danielle U. Kelly is in this one as well. I hope I got the name right. Anyway, this was done in the year 2000. In the year 2000. Okay, it was done in the year 2000. I love this film. I've always loved this film. It's one of those films that I don't think enough people have seen. It's really well done, and it's got a pretty standard plot. Basically, there's this girl played by Laura Herring who's coming out of an asylum. We don't know why. Initially, we find out later on in the film. But part of the thing of her getting out is that she has to get a job. And the job that they give her is working at this resort. She quickly falls in with, meets up with Susan Ward and falls in with the titular in crowd. And things start to unfold and unravel as she becomes more involved with them. Something somewhere just isn't right. It's a really good film. And here's the thing. I want to tell you so much about this movie. I want to talk about certain characters and certain things that are done and certain motifs and things that kind of run throughout the film. But I really do not want to spoil this for you. I really enjoyed The In Crowd. All three of these films were really enjoyable films. This is a triple thriller treat. 100%. If you've been watching my channel for a while, it's called The Call to Cinema. And every once in a while, I will find Blu-rays, I'll find 4Ks, I'll find movies that will be approved by Cult of Cinema. Not every movie that I talk about is Cult of Cinema approved. Not every Blu-ray that I show you is going to be Cult of Cinema approved. This triple feature here is Cult of Cinema approved, and I can tell you this will not be the only time I'll be talking about these three films. I talked about this earlier when I unboxed these films. I'm talking about them now as I do this video, and I'm going to be telling you right now this is going to pop up other places as well, because this triple feature was an utter treat to watch. All three of these films were really fun. You can sit back and you can just watch them, and they're so different. They're thrillers, but they're different. You know, one done in 96, one done in 97, one done in 2000, and they do show the eras that they're done in. But because they're shot the way they're done, a lot of them especially do work like the same then as they would today. They're actually fairly timeless. Thrillers work extremely well that way. I enjoyed all these. One thing I got to say is The In Crowd, I'm trying to remember, because it's been a while since I've seen it, but it's listed as PG-13, but there are actually some scenes, like some raunchier scenes in The In Crowd. Not really raunchy so much, like just nude scenes, really, than there are in Incognito. So, but Incognito does have like one scene there. But anyway, yeah, I don't remember the nude scenes from The In Crowd, so maybe there was, and I just don't remember them. But Susan Ward is an extremely beautiful lady. Wow. Yeah, just gotta put that out there right now. The In Crowd is a film that has a gorgeous cast, but don't think that means it doesn't have a talented cast, because it does. It will remind you of other films. If you hear the name Susan Ward and you think, that's kind of familiar. And then you think, wasn't she in a Wild Things film? She was. She's in Wild Things too, actually. And you can see it. You can tell that she's meant for that type of film. This kind of like thriller that has a bit of more... this one really doesn't have like the sexually charged ones. But she is just one of those girls like that is perfect for that style of film. Now, she's done a lot of stuff aside from that style of film. But... she comes on the screen and she has chemistry with absolutely every person that she comes into contact with. There's nobody on the screen that you're like, you know what? I would not be surprised at all if there was a love scene between this character and Susan Ward, because Susan Ward is amazing in this. She is brilliant. Laura Herring is fantastic. Obviously, she went on to make one of the most renowned films of the aughts of the 2000s. But this is fun. This is brilliant. I really enjoyed this. The other thing that I got to say is, if you are new to MillCreek, and seriously, but if you are, or you're new to MillCreek and the newer stuff they do, just look up here. It says Blu-ray and digital. There's a reason for that. So if you like to watch movies on the go as well, say you can't take this with you, you don't have a Blu-ray portable player, or you're going on a trip, or going to a cabin or something like that. You got your iPad out. MillCreek has something called Movie Spree. Now, Movie Spree has its own website. It also has its own app as well. And with a lot of MillCreek releases, they come with the digital codes. So think about that. So for this one here, you get a digital code which unlocks all three of these films. It unlocks Diabolique, it unlocks Incognito, and it unlocks the Incred for you to watch on the go whenever you want. They do that with a lot of their TV shows, a lot of their 10 packs as well, and some of their films. So watch for MillCreek releases with the Blu-ray digital code because you get extra value with that. There you go. This film, these three films, this Blu-ray set, Diabolique, Incognito, The Incred, it is 100% Cult of Cinema approved. October 13th, this gets released. 100% guys. Pick it up. Recommend it. Let MillCreek know that you've seen this video. And if that's the reason you pick it up, let them know that. Let them know that too. Because I had a lot of fun with these films. And I'm pretty sure you will too. Anyway, my name's Aaron. I got to go up and have some tea. I may watch The Incred again really soon, actually. I really like this film. Have a great evening. And 100% Cult of Cinema approved. I didn't know I was going to be able to say this because I was unsure of Incognito till I saw it, because this is one that was a blind spot for me. I knew this one. I was a really big fan of this one. I was unsure of this one because I had been such a long time since I'd seen it. And this was a blind spot. But these are three brilliant films. And thank God MillCreek put them out. There's a lot of big releases coming out nowadays. A lot of big box sets and special sets and like big like slip covers and editions and 4Ks and that. Don't let these three films that initially fell under the radar, became unseen, these three little gems of films, don't let them become unseen again. Don't let them fall under your radar this time. Diabolique, Incognito, The Incredible Triple Feature. Let this be one of the hidden gems that you find this year.